Hello. In this 1.21.1 NeoForge modpack development video, we're going to be going over how to add recipes to the Immersive Engineering garden cloche. In addition, we're going to learn how to add fertilizers to that machine. This video is mainly brought to you by the great support of BisectHosting, which I'll get to later. But now let's get started with the code. Feel free to open up the IDE of choice. I use Visual Studio Code and follow along. So as this is a server event, as this is a recipe event in general, we have to use server events.recipes and using the event callback. Obviously, this is in the server scripts folder, as you can see on the left. So this is going to be using the event.custom function. So event.custom, and then we're going to put some modeled off of the JSON found in the Immersive Engineering GitHub, which is a quick Google search away to refer to, but we're going to model that. So we're going to use our open curly braces, enter. The first thing we need to define is our type. So type colon, this is going to be of type Immersive Engineering colon cloche, and then comma. Next, we need to define the input. So input colon space, and then we're going to use curly braces, enter, and then we're going to define an item. So in this case, I'm going to add both the tomatoes and cabbage to the cloche, which it's not in there by default. So let's specify that. So let's do farmers delight colon tomato seeds, and then we're done with that, so we can do comma. Next, we have to define what's called the render, and the render basically means what's it going to look like inside the machine. So the garden cloche is a very neat block in which you can actually see the crop growing. So we need to define that. So we're going to do that with render colon space. We need the curly braces because we have two things we need to put in here. The first thing is the type. So this is going to be Immersive Engineering crop. And then next we need to do the block. So there's multiple ways that you find this. So in game, if you have to, I would recommend opening up your F3 menu and then actually looking at the crop. In my experience, it's been smart, so it knows what you're talking about by that point. So in Farmers Delight, the block is referred to as Farmers Delight budding tomatoes. And that's it. So that's going to be what it actually looks like in the machine with the render. Next are the results. So here we can specify up to 4 things because there's only an output inventory of 4 in the actual machine. But in this case, I'm going to do 2. So results colon space curly braces, enter, and then we're going to type in. Actually, no, it's going to be brackets. And then we need to do curly brace. So we're going to do item, Farmer's Delight tomato. And then let's add the tomato seeds as well. If you want, you can add a chance. So let's say 10% chance you would do that, but I'm just going to do guaranteed both items. Next, we need to find the soil. So we're going to do that with the soil, curly brace, and then we just need to specify an item. So let's just do dirt. The last thing we need to define is the time that it takes. So that's simply time, and then this is in ticks, so it would be 600 ticks that this would take. Let's do another example. We can probably just copy this, make it easier. So now we want to do cabbage, so we simply need to replace the input with cabbage sheets. The render is going to be same thing, Immersive Engineering crop. It's going to usually be that. And then the block is Farmer's Delight. Instead of budding tomatoes, it's going to be cabbages. That's the name for that. The results is obviously going to be cabbage. And then cabbage seeds. And then dirt, and we'll keep the time as the same. Next, let us actually add a fertilizer to the garden cloche. So by default, it takes things like bone meal and slag, but let's say we want to add something else. So in this case, I want to add Mystical Agriculture's Mystical Fertilizer and make that like a very powerful fertilizer. So we start the same way, event.custom, since it is a recipe. Curly brace. The first thing is type. So in this case, it is Immersive Engineering Fertilizer, comma. Next, we need to specify the growth modifier. So for reference, bone meal is like 1.5, I think. So let's make it twice as good because it does that particular item requires diamonds. So quote growth modifier colon, let's do 2.5, comma, and then last we need to specify an input. So input curly brace, enter item, and then let's do Mystical Agriculture Mystical Fertilizer. So this should work. So as we can see the code here, but before we see in game, let me give a shout out to my server hosting partner, BisectHosting. This is a great service that offers server hosting for over 80 games in general, and in specific with Minecraft, you can pre-install thousands of mod packs automatically. So any relevantly popular mod pack is probably there. They also offer 24/7, 365 customer support. I can particularly attest to that because I run servers for personal use with me and my friends, and if I'm running into an issue, they are always very helpful and prompt. You also have full file access, so you can mess with things yourself, and you can also host your server across 20 secure locations across the world. Again, thank you to BisectHosting for supporting me, supporting my channel and my modpack endeavors. I'm happy to point people in their direction. They offer a great service. I can't say enough. But anyways, feel free to check out link in my description, and that will take you to this website here that I took a screenshot from. Okay, now let's look in game here and just quickly see what it looks like. So we're in game now. I have everything popped up, so I don't have to search. First thing is cabbage. Well, we did tomatoes first, so let's do tomato. So we see we have a garden cloche recipe here. It takes tomato seeds, dirt, and that gets you guaranteed output of tomato and tomato seeds. Similarly with cabbage, it's a very similar thing. Cabbage seeds, dirt, cabbage, and cabbage seeds. Last, let's take a look at our mystical fertilizer for uses. As you can see, obviously you can use it in the garden cloche as well. These are some other recipes I added. I'll show you that in another video. But here, garden cloche fertilizer, growth modifier 2.5, and that's exactly what it shows. But anyways, I hope this video was informative. I ran into this while developing my Infinite Horizons 2 mod pack, and I felt like I should share. Reach out if you have any questions. I'd be happy to help. Please check out my Discord as well. And I would appreciate a like and comment on this video to show that it helped you out. Otherwise, appreciate your time watching this video and have a great day.